here, and today I am participating in the Sketch YouTube Hop, and this is the sketch we are going to be using. It is an Altenew sketch, and I am going to stretch it into a double page layout here. I'm going to be using these Ink Road stamps and dies. Really excited about these. These are called Bella Floral. And I'm going to be scrapbooking these older pictures. My kids were very young here. I believe this was around 2008, so almost 10 years ago. Well, let's see what I can do. So the first thing I do is place my stamps into my Misty stamp positioning tool. And I'm using some Gina K amalgam ink. This ink is awesome. It is so awesome. It works with Copics. It's just a great black ink, and it's really hard to get. I wanted to order the big ink pad after I had taken a class with Gina K. However, it's hard to keep in stock. So as soon as it goes in stock, it's sold out. So I finally got my hands on one of these little jobbies. Makes my life a whole lot easier. It's actually a little bit easier to control the little square stamp pads instead of those big ones. I don't know, it could be just because I'm a maniac with stamping, who knows. But the beautiful thing about a stamp positioning tool is that if it doesn't stamp completely through, you can always throw some more ink on there and slap it back down again. It goes back in the exact same spot. And look at those images. They're just beautiful. These stamps are gorgeous, and the dies are perfect too. Now, I had thought that these dies would have matched the inked images perfectly. They did not, so they're not exact matches. Kind of threw me for a second, but I found these outline ones, and they did perfect outlines on the stamped images. So I'm going to go ahead and slap those down on all of them. I'm just using some purple tape to go ahead and hold that down. Now, the beautiful thing about this tape is it is not supposed to stick to your paper or to, you know, mess up anything. Now, I don't know if it's because I know exactly why I did it. My ink was not completely dry when I put down some of this purple tape. I could have heat set it to take care of that problem, but I didn't. So when it goes through, it does pull up a spot of ink on one of the floral pieces. I just leave it and go with it. I'm not worried about it. I'm not gonna stamp out another one and cut out another one. It's just not worth it to me. The time and effort just isn't worth it. It looks fine. Looks great. So I go ahead and I'm gonna slide that right through my Sizzix Big Shot. I have no issues whatsoever doing the outlines. Now, when I go and cut out the intricate dies of the florals, which are kind of off the screen up there on the top, I tried to do them all at once. It did not work. My Sizzix machine did not like trying to get all of those intricate pieces at once. Now, I have the Sizzix bigger one. I don't know what it is. Is it a plus? I think it's the plus. So it's a little bit wider, so you can put, you know, the little bit wider dies through. So you have that bigger platform, you want to put them all down at once. If you have these intricate dies, you don't want to do that. Do them one by one. That way you're going to be able to get nice, beautiful, clean cuts all the way through. Now, I thought what I would do is color these up, and I debated on doing some markers or, you know, kind of watercoloring or what. So I ended up basically just coloring with an ink pad. I really don't think you can call this watercoloring, even though I'm using a water brush. But for the first couple flower pieces, as you can see, I'm pulling it right off the ink pad. I finally get the bright idea to drop some of this ink onto a little acrylic block. It works a little bit better. That way I can also put that ink down, smush it down, and get a darker part to show up on the flowers because I want them to have a little bit of dimension. I don't want them to be, you know, I'm obviously not trying to make these look realistic or anything, but I do want them to have a little bit of dimension, and smushing it down on the acrylic block makes that work a whole lot easier. Yep, there I go. I get the bright idea right there. Now the pink ink that I'm using is from Hero Arts. It's called Pale Tomato. And the green ink I'm using is from Gina K Designs, and that is Grass Green. Now I am using Gina K cardstock, and it is the Pure Luxury cardstock in base weight, and it's white. And guys, you know, I have always just gotten that cheap cardstock from Michael's. Get it for like $2 a pack when it's on sale, sometimes even less. And I thought, it's just white cardstock, what does it matter? But it truly, truly does matter. You get so much better quality of stamp. You get so much better quality coloring on a really nice cardstock, and this Gina K stuff is amazing. So if you can get your hands on some of it to try out, by all means, like, do it. Compare it. If you're like me and you are always getting that cheap white Michael's cardstock, like, it'll blow your mind. So here I am. And I have my photos laid out. I went ahead and matted them on some pattern paper, and both of those pattern papers came from Echo Park. The background paper is Graphic 45. Now, as I said earlier, these photos are from 2008, and I'm a chronological scrapper. So I just missed these photos somehow. Somehow they did not make it into the album. So I wanted to be able to scrapbook these photos, place them in my 2008 album, and still have it look like they belong there and not look like something I'm scrapbooking right now. So the way I did that was to keep the photos separate. And even though I am, you know, stretching the sketch, there's a lot of layering going on in that sketch, but I'm totally not doing that. It's very rare now when I'm scrapbooking that my photos are so spaced out. Back in 2008, the photos were spaced out all across the page. Double pages were a big thing in 2008 as well. Now I am still, you know, keeping with my style now by layering up these florals and the die cuts. I also have these kind of white recollection stickers. They've been in my stash for a little while. They feel really cool. They feel like there's kind of like non-stick, like non-skid kind of feeling to them. They just have a really cool texture. They look almost fabric-y, but they're not. They're kind of like plastic. It's just a cool feeling. If you have them, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going ahead and popping everything down with my ATG. And I'm not putting down anything with unfun foam or pop dots or anything like that, because I did not do that back in 2008. Or if I did, I was just starting to. Now I pulled out these little gold leafy bits because I thought, hey, gold goes on all the time, using gold forever. And it really just doesn't go with this page. It kind of clashes. And I really didn't want it to clash at all. So I have these Amy Tangerine thickers. They are the lucky ones. And I have 2 packs of them. And I have this thing on this second pack that's almost completely used up that says Family Love. And I've been saving it for a picture or a layout where all of us are in the photos. All of us are not in the photos together on this page. We had gone to the beach. It was just us. We were just spending a little bit of time in there, walking along. So, you know, we had to take turns with the camera, but we're all here. So it works for me. Now, one thing I'm going to do here is make sure that those black die cuts go over that curly Q of the F. That way I can get some texture and excitement on the page, kind of like I do now. I'm going to go ahead and pop that love word down there, and I'm thinking I've got this big space over here in the upper right hand corner, and it just needs something. So I'm going to go through. I'm thinking about using that last non-skid sticker that I have. It doesn't cut it. But what does happen is I feel like I need some more. I don't have enough of these stickers on the page, so I'm cutting them up to make them last a little bit longer because I don't have enough to put one on each kind of floral cluster. So I'm going ahead and doing that and just finding some places where I can nestle them down and they kind of look like they belong there. So while I'm doing that, let me take a moment to remind you guys to just make sure that you're hopping along for the Stretch the Sketch YouTube hop. Sometimes we go small, we smush that sketch. Sometimes we go big and we stretch it out. Like this one goes from a 12 by 12 to a double page layout. We do everything from traveler's notebooks to 6 by 8s to 8.5 by 11s. You name it, somebody stretched a sketch somehow or another. It's a lot of fun, and you might just find a couple of cool new YouTubers to follow. So I have these Wonder Thickers, and I'm just popping them down as well. And I think that I'm going to find what I'm going to use to kill that, just that big empty space up there. And I do. But it takes me a minute to realize that I'm holding it in my hand. Like, it's like right there. Use that one. And it just doesn't. I gotta mess around with it for a little while longer because, you know, sometimes you get in your own way when you're scrapbooking. Now, there's not going to be really any journaling on this page at all because, like I said, these are just photos that I just somehow missed that I was scrapbooking in 2008. There are other photos in 2008 of this exact day, but I had a stack of these that were really good photos that for some reason just didn't get scrapbooked. So the journaling's already done. It was done 10 years ago. So that's always exciting. Just going to go ahead and get these last stickers down, and I'm thinking that it still needs that little bit of something extra. So I definitely didn't use anything like enamel dots or sequins or anything back in 2008. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use these little black hearts from the sticker sheet, and I'm just going to pop them around a little bit just to give it that little extra bit of oomph that I seem to really like doing on my pages now. Just going to use that last little geotag, and I do believe that's going to do it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.